I'm Ellie Francis Douglas. I'm a San Antonio-based poet, and I'm going to be reading one poem called Plea. In this poem utilizes two Greek myths, so I'd like to mention those very briefly just in case any readers or listeners are unfamiliar with them. So the first is the Persephone and Demeter myth. Persephone was a young girl, I think they say she was like 15 or 16, and she was abducted by Hades, the lord of the underworld, to come live in the underworld and be his queen. But her mother was the goddess that made everything grow. And whenever Hades abducted Persephone, Demeter, her mother, was really upset, and everything stopped growing. And the gods ended up kind of forming this deal between them in which Demeter would get Persephone for part of the year, and Hades would get Persephone for part of the year. And she lived sort of this weird middle life between the two places, always going back and forth. And then the other myth that I use is Orpheus and Eurydice, in which Orpheus and Eurydice were newlyweds, very happy couple, and Eurydice dies very suddenly from a snake bite, I think a viper is what they said, and Orpheus is absolutely devastated that he lost his bride, and he's a really talented musician. He played a lyre, I think is how they say it, and he decides to go down to the underworld to try to convince Hades and Persephone to let him sort of guide Eurydice back to the living world. So I decided to use both sort of the intersection between these two myths as a way to explore my own grief. This is Plea. 1. 1. Orpheus, I understand you. There is no way to return to that self that hasn't watched the beloved die. 2. Eurydice, tell me you didn't see the spring-loaded S of the viper's body. Say it was instantaneous, like blinking, that the fangs met your heel as you lifted off the ground to jump over tall grass, and you soared unknowing through the open mouth of the earth. Orpheus's love song trailing you into that sweet darkness. 3. Please, Hades, let me dig a tunnel to the underworld. I'd like to sing to him. I'm not afraid of seeing him as shadow, and I won't ask you to allow him back. He suffered too much. My grief has not made me forget. No? 4. Persephone, you're so lucky to have both worlds, your summer and winter homes. You never miss anyone for long. Can you check on him for me sometimes? Will you tell him that I asked? Thank you.